Times were tough, so I sold my soul. And I don't think I'll ever regain control. Devil looked me in the eye, now I look the other way. What else could I do? I just stood at the doorway, knew I'd rather be drunk with you. I'd rather be drunk, but I'm caught.
Hey Internet, Dracofunk here, and this is my still mostly reusable space program. We've only had a few accidents, and speaking of accidents, this is the big mining craft on Minmus. You might notice it's missing one of its big fuel tanks.
It looks a little asymmetrical at the moment.
I transferred fuel out of the one side fuel tank and shut down the engine, and I'm landing it on Minmus, and I'll probably try and do one mining mission before returning it to Kerbin for repairs.
Right. See if it works still.
I mean, I got it down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, landing on Minmus isn't the hardest thing.
Nah, you got this.
So I'm just gonna have to
I feel like
do.
hard mode would have been like landing it on a slope so that it's level. Since you only have 3 legs out of 4.
So anyway, one of the things I started off this whole series by putting relay satellites in orbit of Kerbin, so I could, all my probes would work.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that should have been the first thing I did when I went to the Mun, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't do that.
Yes.
I also need to do that around Minmus. So this rocket is carrying 4 satellites.
The fairing is impressive.
You know, I had to make the fairing big.
It's like those spiders that produce like an egg sac on their heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So my reasoning for originally I wasn't using fairings for anything because, reusable things and that wasting the fairing. But SpaceX has proven you can recover fairings.
Oh.
And those boosters might have exploded. I need to do better. I need to make a better effort to make sure my boosters don't explode.
I mean, it does add to the comedy.
So anyway, SpaceX has proven you can recover fairings.
Right. So
since SpaceX can do it, I'm assuming that, my reusable space program can do that. See, that's going to recover all those pieces.
Just every single one of them, yeah. It'll be fine. It's only like 30 or 40.
So I can go and reset those so they only come off in like 4 pieces. And I could have done that, but I didn't. So, it's just going to be like a jigsaw puzzle they have to put back together.
This is like in like car racing where they're like, yeah, I'm racing the same car all season, and then by the end of the season it has a new engine and new wheels and new axles and like the body panels have all been this is Dracofunk's space program of Theseus. Here is what this is.
Yes. The fairing of Theseus.
That's right.
So anyway, see that there are 4 comm satellites.
Uh-huh.
And they sit atop this special mechanism.
Okay.
That I can attach. I'm going to attach to the mining ship, or not the mining ship, the tanker.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I've decided to name the tanker the Canterbury.
Okay.
And the problem is, right now, I have this little, the Aries craft docked to it because I was transferring fuel.
Right.
Remember how I had that fuel problem?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm solving it. I've almost got it solved. Like the Enterprise station is not completely out of fuel.
All right.
And I need to go. I think I have another Aries craft in orbit that I can switch to that doesn't have a fuel tank attached to it. Maybe not. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I will just work with this one. I'm going to send it to Minmus because that's where that fuel tank goes.
Yeah.
This was one of the things I was trying to do back in episode 14, was get all this stuff to Minmus and get the Minmus station completed. And, you know, I'm not quite there, and it's episode 22.
Well, you had a setback or 5.
But I'm working there. It's almost there.
Absolutely.
The station is kind of up and running. All I need to do is get all the fuel tanks there and not have any more accidents. And I'm coming towards this station really close and really fast.
It's a little.
Okay. I only broke one solar panel.
That's fine. It's still good.
You know what? The ship can work with one solar panel.
Yeah, it absolutely can. Yeah. And you can recover the rest. It only broke into what, 6 pieces?
Okay, now look. Okay, let's just gloss over that whole accident. The mission of this program was everything either stayed in orbit or landed.
Well, it's definitely in orbit.
Or safe.
Yeah.
And those pieces of solar panel are going to stay in space.
Absolutely. And those pieces of fairing are definitely going to land. See, it's fine.
So this is actually the last piece of the station that I need to dock to it, because I have the RCS tank, I have the ore tank,
Yeah.
and I already have the other fuel tank there.
Yeah, I see
So
the
the
RCS
station
tank there.
is basically operational, except the mining ship broke.
Well, you know. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so there is this is Challenger Station in orbit of Minmus.
Mm-hmm.
And it is basically fully constructed. I do need to move that solar panel section. Actually, you know what? I've changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to move it. I'm just going to rotate it.
That seems reasonable.
Unless I forget and move it anyway.
You might.
Yeah. I'm just going to transfer fuel and fill the Aries craft. I'm going to fill it back up. And I'm going to send it back to Kerbin, and I'm going to pick up those satellites.
All right.
Because, I mean, that's the job of the Aries ship, is to basically... It's kind of like a space tractor.
Yeah, it's like a space tug, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But manned.
But manned, yeah.
It's like this... It's not the kind of space tug that, like, docks stuff. It's the kind of space tug that pulls stuff to where I need it.
It's like the guy who bought, like, an F-1150 pickup truck because he wanted to, and then his wife made him do something useful for it, so he painted some words on it and occasionally delivers cars to people.
Except that this is actually what this craft is doing what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
It took something that was launched and moved it to where it needed to be.
And there you go.
I mean, this craft, these guys have been to the Mun and back, and I'm just going to gloss over where I put it in orbit of Kerbin, and it is now rendezvoused with the satellites.
Yeah.
So what I really need to do is I'm going to undock the whole satellite delivery mechanism,
Right.
and I'm going to have the Aries craft then dock with this booster and siphon off any remaining rocket fuel,
Okay.
and then dock with the satellites and take them to Enterprise Station, where the Canterbury, the tanker, can then dock with it and then head to the Mun.
Perfect.
And all I got to do is turn the booster, which I can control the booster because, of course, of my relay satellites that I have in orbit.
Uh,
And I'm doing the easy docking mechanism by pointing both ships at each other.
As opposed to the really complicated version where you just like throw hoses out a window and tie them together.
So I don't. There's a series called The Expanse,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a sci-fi series, and they do things really, a lot of things really realistically.
Right.
Like, they have an interesting method for creating artificial gravity on their ships.
What, like centrifugal or what?
No. So they build their ships like skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and basically when they want to travel somewhere, they generate thrust.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so basically they are powering all the way to their destination until they get about halfway between.
And they flip it around.
Then they flip it around and decelerate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I almost hit that fin.
Just barely, almost didn't.
But I am coming in. I'm doing all this docking manually. And this
As
is
you do.
Yeah, this is sped up 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take super long. But it did take some time. I'm drinking more coffee because I need more coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so do I today.
I had 2 gigs yesterday, and they were not in the town I live in.
Right.
And they were also not in the same town. So both of towns were about an hour or so away from me. And they were like an hour and a half apart from each other.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
go where the work is.
I didn't get home till like 2.
Yeah.
So here it is. I'm coming in docking and, mostly correct.
Mostly docked. There we go. Hey, you've got the flag lined up in between the boosters there, or between the satellites there.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make sure that the exhaust from the engines isn't like right on one of the satellites.
Right. Oh, it's like side engines. Okay.
So the whole premise of this contraption that the satellites are attached to. So
Right.
I will send this whole thing to the Mun.
Mm-hmm.
I will deploy the satellites, and then I'll bring it back to Kerbin and see how it has parachutes on it.
Yeah.
I will land it and recover it.
Yeah.
And then launch more satellites on it.
Reusable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure the Canterbury has enough fuel to fly to the Mun. It doesn't really take that much to fly there when it's empty.
Sure.
The problem is that it's not 100% symmetrical, so it's not bad. It's really, really close. So it's not the 100% easiest thing to fly, but it's only barely noticeable.
Yeah. Fine.
So I'm going to undock it, get it away from the station a little bit, and then I'll have the Aries craft rendezvous with it. And I will just crossfade to the Aries craft. And I think I've already got it basically... Is this after I've already rendezvoused with the station? I think so.
There's something up there.
Well, that's either the booster or the
So you're
station.
you're apparently heading toward it, so hopefully it's the station.
Yeah. It's not like these guys have ever went to rendezvous with the station and accidentally, like, slammed into it.
No.
Actually, it's not the station, it's the Canterbury.
Okay.
Or it should be the Canterbury. I believe it is the Canterbury.
We're gonna find out. You're 175 meters away.
Yeah, that looks like the Canterbury. I'll
Yeah.
just speed this up to 4 times.
Maybe.
So yeah, so there's the tanker,
Mm-hmm.
and all I have to do is undock from the satellite launching system and dock the satellites to the back of this, right on that fuel tank. I'm just going to point everything, so all I have to do is basically reverse into it.
There you go.
And it'll be... This should be easy.
Should be.
So this is sped up 4 times. Did you notice when I undocked that it's got some rotation?
It's kind of twisting there.
Yeah, I didn't notice that at first.
Little twisty going on. A little bit of spinneroonie in that. You put some English on them things.
So
yeah. You're gonna wait for it to come around again.
Well, at the time I thought I could, like, catch up to it.
No.
And then, like, here I'm realizing that, well, that's not going to work. So I think, you know what? I'll just get it lined up and wait for it to come back around, and then
slam it.
Yeah.
Gonna let it come around. So.
Well, I just need to... I'm flying by the nav ball right now to get it lined up.
Right.
I'm just looking around, and it's not going well.
No. Can you control the other thing?
Yeah, so here's my attempt at the slamming.
Oh no.
This is sped up 4 times. It's sped up 4 times. I really wasn't going in that fast. So I didn't make it.
No.
I've now been at this for like 15 minutes.
I was gonna say, like,
I eventually, after 15 minutes of just trying to dock, just went over and decided I can control the satellites.
Yeah.
And they have plenty of RCS fuel on there, so it's not really an issue. Although I do need to save enough RCS to deorbit the launching mechanism so it can land, but I'm sure I'll have enough. It won't take that much.
And
There we go. We got this now.
That looks good. There it is. Now the whole thing starts rotating.
As long as it's docked, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even for some reason, I must have thought this was right side up, but it's actually upside down. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
And the sunlight beats down on it. Well, join us next episode where I will actually deploy the satellites in orbit of the moon and nothing else will happen.
Yes, for sure.